Hi, I'm Kendall with the Rawls Group. The old African proverb, "it takes a village," illustrates the essential nature of a team approach to succession planning. Succession planning is a complex endeavor. As such, it requires leveraging the expertise of a diversity of backgrounds. Collaboration and different expert opinions provides a 360-degree approach, ensuring the possible, probable, and potential issues impacting your long-term vision are addressed. To provide insight into common questions received from business owners, we are leveraging the village of our valued strategic relationships. As you listen to this episode, you'll be able to immediately apply the key takeaways and you'll come back for more. Now we're going to focus on how do you navigate closely held business transitions when the next gen is not interested in continuing the family business?
You worked your entire life building the family business up to a thriving business enterprise, and now you're ready to retire and turn it over to the kids so that you can maintain the legacy of the business and start the new chapter in your life. But the kids say no. What now? Hello, my name is Bob Morrison. I'm the partner in charge of the Business Advisory Services practice of Rosenfield Co. Unfortunately, this scenario I've given you is all too common. The transitioning of a business enterprise is difficult by itself. Typically, the business was built by the blood, sweat, and tears of you, the family member, over decades. The business, and when I say business, I mean including the employees, the vendors, and the customers, has become your child or your dependent. It's difficult to instill the passion in the next generation that you have for the business because the next generation just has not lived it as you have. Data show that 70% of family-owned businesses either fail or are sold in the second generation. Just 10% survive into the third generation. Many of those failures may be attributed to the fact that the son or daughter just does not have the aptitude for the business, but mom and dad are so interested in the legacy and keeping the kids in the business that it clouds their decision making. Another significant contributor to the failure is that the next generation owner never really wanted the business in the first place. They have other interests, but they take on the business because they don't want to disappoint mom and dad. They take on that guilt. Finally, next generation family member may resist assuming the helm of the business over fear of failure and what that might have in terms of the impact on family dynamics. So what do you do if you get to this stage to soften this blow? Well, first would be to communicate and plan accordingly. The time to learn that the kids don't want the business is not when you're ready to retire. Hold regular family meetings that include a business agenda, and this will help the next generation understand the requirements of stepping into your shoes and help you, the exiting family member, assess the interest from the kids. Number two, listen to your son or daughter and be honest with them and with yourself. Provide a safe zone for them to express their decisions, their desires, and their anxieties. Let them know that no matter what happens, they will always have a home there at the business if they want it. Number three, have alternatives. Transitioning to a next generation family member should be one of several alternative strategies. Those other strategies might include sale to a third party, sale to key employees, or sale to the employee group on an ESOP. The most desirable strategy will be that which meets your objectives both financially and emotionally. And it isn't necessarily the most expedient or that which you think is okay now but may turn into something great later. Planning an exit requires much thought and reasoned objective counsel from professionals that do not have a dog in the hunt, can help you with more of a clinical view of the decision. And number four, obtain objective, independent professional advice. The decision to exit a business that has been your baby for decades is a significant decision. Add to that the involvement of family members in the decision making, and the outcome will have long-lasting implications for you and your family, especially if the transition results in failure or disappointment. It is short-sighted, if not foolish, to believe that you can navigate this decision-making path alone. You need clarity and unemotional counsel to give you information that you need to make the best decision. Transitioning a family business is as much an emotional decision as it is a financial decision. Enhance the likelihood of meeting your objectives by communicating, listening, planning, and having alternatives. Finally, as emotions may cause us to become a bit irrational at times, seek objective, independent counsel from trained professionals who can help you navigate the minefield that may await you. Thank you, and take care.
Once the family has made that big decision to sell, then the fun begins. As in any buy-sell transaction, the keys to a successful transaction begin with running a very confidential process, inviting multiple potential buyers to the table to maximize market value, selecting the right investment advisor with a proven track record of success in selling businesses similar to yours that will help guide the transaction, as well as an experienced attorney and CPA. Start the process with preparing financial, operational, market data for dissemination to the potential buyers. Providing a normalized earnings of historical data is very important. Management add-backs of non-recurring income or expenses are needed to help provide insight into what the buyer could expect from future operations. As your investment advisor, Haig Partners will guide you through this process and prepare much of this information. Begin the process with the end in mind. Have realistic expectations and project after-tax cash flow for all owners. It is helpful for all parties to have an idea of the outcome everyone is working together to achieve. Buy-sell transactions are a marathon, not a sprint. Hang tough and don't lose focus of the end goal. Here are a few matters to consider as you start. Be flexible. Like in any negotiation, you have to be prepared to give some things to get others. This will be an emotional roller coaster. Stay calm. Be what we refer to as a good seller. Stay strong and determined, but also be fair. Communicate with your advisors, family members, and the buyer. Don't keep other parties hanging in the dark. Every seller is looking for three things in a transaction: high price, confidentiality, and speed. It is difficult to get all of these, but patience and tenacity can help you reach your goal. It also takes an advisor with a nationwide reach of contacts and relationships. It's quite possible that the right buyer for your dealership is not someone you currently know today.
We hear it all the time. What do I do if my kids aren't interested? And what dealers are really saying under that situation is, I know I'm going to have to sell, but I really don't want to, at least not now. And timing is everything. And how do I protect my family, etc. So let me tell you two stories about two different dealers, both in their 60s, and both of them with little different situations. They knew they're going to have to sell, but how they approach it was different. In the first guy's situation, he said, what I'd really like to do is to be able to stay involved and sell to my GM. And the reason for that is because then I could stay involved for, let's just say 10 years or something like that, and we could keep the culture going the same way. I'm going to live in my community. It all sounded like a better thing, but the problem is he didn't have enough money to afford this thing. What are we going to do? So we set up a plan in which we showed him how if he was willing to lower the price in the early going and allow this guy to be able to buy in on the first 10% and then buy it in stages, that we could allow him to use the profits of the business and he could afford to buy it. Now, it was clear that there was going to be a smaller number than the number that the dealer would have gotten if he had sold it outright to a third party. But because he was staying in 10 years and because he was getting the lion's share of the profits over that period of time, he was going to end up with a lot more money. Much more important to him was the fact that while the money was great, was he was going to be able to stay involved and be able to participate in this thing, which he loved. He loved the business. And at the same time, he could do less and less because the other guy was going to do more and more. It was a perfect situation for him. Let's talk about the other dealer. The other dealer's situation involved a great GM and a great CFO who were doing such a wonderful job that this dealer really had the freedom to be able to be gone for 3 or 4 weeks at a time and run off to Europe or do whatever he wanted to do and still be making tons of money and having a great situation. The problem was that these two guys were very fearful that the boss was going to sell prematurely because they were in their early 50s And if he sold before they were ready to retire, the longer they waited, the less marketable they were going to be. So what do? We set up a deferred compensation plan, allowed them to get a percentage of the profits over that period of time before the boss sold. And then we set it up, if the boss did sell, they were going to get a percentage of the sale price. And even more important to the boss was, if something happened to him and if he died prematurely, then he wanted them to be willing to stay long enough to transact the sale and help his family and particularly his wife to get all the money that he really wanted to get. So therefore, he doubled the percentage that they would get under those circumstances. What's the net result? He continues having fun, making money. These guys continue having fun, making money, and the family's protected, the business is protected, and everybody got exactly what they wanted. Now, your situation may be very different, but what we wanted you to see is that there are a lot of planning options that are available, even when you do not have family successors.
Thank you to our strategic partners, The Village, for participating and sharing your perspective. Do you have a burning question you want to discuss with an expert? Feel free to submit it via the Ask an Expert link featured on the page. Continue to listen to this series now or come back later for more. Each question featured may want you to learn something new.